Even to go to Panchratan, I mean, for a normal person at that time, today it's like Bharat Diamond Boss, but Panchratan, getting inside Panchratan was itself a big thing. How can you go inside there without any connections or anyone? I feel I learn every day. I still want to do more things. I still want to learn more because every day is a learning experience. It's very, very necessary in this field because unless you understand your gemstones, how are you going to design? I have to understand what stones I'm gonna use, how I am going to proceed. If I don't understand, I will just put a green color. A green color can be a savarite, it can be a emerald, it can be a onyx, it can be anything.
Welcome, Vardaji, to the 11th edition, or as I would like to call it, the penultimate edition of Legacy of Leadership Knowledge Series in 2023. I want to start off, Vardaji, by asking you that um, how did your journey in the gems and jewelry industry begin? And could you also share your key experiences and maybe some milestones from your journey that you think have shaped your career?
Nobody in my family is remotely connected to jewelry, so it was a very strange field for me to be in. But Calcutta being the god of karigars, if you all know, like all the artisans, all the goldsmiths are from Calcutta. So at that time, we used to have our jewelry by the pudiyas and have the jewelry made by the artisans. So I was very interested in designing at that point of time, and I used to do small things for myself. Like if I got some money, I would get something small made and wear them, and that's how people used to love it. I started with a small capital of 2 lakh rupees, more on that later. And I did my first like friends and family show kind of a thing. Like now they do the big thing, but I did my friends and family thing, and I was a complete sellout. So that really encouraged me. And I had done a diamonds course in Bombay. I was traveling to Mumbai very often, so I learned diamond grading. I learned designing in Bombay. I did a couple of more courses and out there. But then I started my first store at Metro Plaza. It was a very small store, a tiny store. And that point of time, like I thought I really needed credentials, and that was when I did my GIA. And after that, from my first store, I think I was the first person in jewelry in Calcutta at that point of time, which was doing designer jewelry. We had like designer concept jewelry. Everybody was into traditional jewelry at that point of time. So people really appreciated and got a very good uh, clientele base at that time, and that really helped me. So then I moved to my new address, the bigger store, like my corporate office. I opened stores in Bombay, my Bombay store also. Then I did I went to US, I went to London, I went to Hong Kong, I went to Singapore, I did the whole Middle Eastern circuit. So things keep falling, and then I sort of like used all the opportunities God gave me to like try to. It has been an uphill journey. It has had its ups and downs. There was some fantastic moments and some low moments, of course, which are everywhere. But then I think today I've reached a point through this. The Middle East circuit also is very, very similar to our Indian circuit. So that also was a very big hit. And then London is doing well. So I think overall the journey has been fantastic. And now with the stores in Calcutta and Mumbai and London retail, plus exhibitions all over the country and abroad, I think they are okay.
So, if I were to ask you, Vazaji, that what sparked your interest in becoming a jewelry designer? I know you touched upon it a little bit, that you started doing small things on your own. Uh, so, was there maybe a life moment or an event in your life that led to this decision that you want to pursue this, this profession as a career, and you want to build something out of it?
I was always into creative arts. So I wanted to do something in the creative field. And I was an MBA, so obviously a business I wanted to do. And this was much after my marriage, my son, my whole family thing, responsibilities at that point of time. I was a little more free and I wanted to do something good in life. And then because I'd done a few small pieces of jewelry and people really appreciated, and I was a complete sellout the first time. Like I made 2 lakh rupees. I must have made like 20 pieces of earrings and stuff like that. And everything sold out. So that was such a huge boost for me that then I started doing it more seriously, and then more and more people started coming home to like come and see. And then I thought, now this is not like I can't do it at home, so I thought I must do much more professionally. That's how I opened my showroom, my first showroom at Metro Plaza. And the journey, like I had a friend and we were opening it together, but at the last moment, because of family commitment, she dropped out. So it wasn't so easy for me to continue. I was like in the quandary then, which way should I go? Should I go ahead or should I just stay a small scale home jeweler? But then my dad said, no, you're doing it, you do it right. So sort of like my dad has been my pillar of strength, kind of a thing. And he has been my advisor in my journey. So he guided me like, no, you have to do it. And I made it, whichever way you look at it. So, and actually, it was a tough journey because no jewelry background, no connections in the jewelry world. Even to go to Panchratan, I mean, for a normal person at that time, today it's like Bharat Diamond Boss, but Panchratan, getting inside Panchratan was itself a big thing. How can you go inside there without any connections or anyone? So getting there, now I've visited all the bosses, maybe the Israel boss, the Antwerp boss, the Hong Kong, everywhere I have done the bosses. But that point of time to visit a boss was a very big thing. So I think God helped me, people helped me. Let me say.
Now, while I want to move to the next question, I also want to do a quick recap for the audience of your academic journey. I know Apurva sir mentioned it in the introduction. Like you're a B.Sc gold medalist, you're an MBA, you're also a GIA Diamonds graduate, and your stint with the Harvard Business School. And for anyone who looks at that, who reads that, who hears that, that's quite impressive. What I want to ask you, ma'am, is um, like, how has this educational background of yours and, doing all these courses and the academic journey, how has that influenced or how has that helped you in the gem and jewelry industry?
That's a very interesting take on it. I feel I learn every day. I still want to do more things. I still want to learn more because every day is a learning experience. And I think with the education, like my science background gives me a little more in-depth knowledge. It broadens my scope, like sort of it opens my mind. And my MBA really helps me in the financial aspect as well as the business aspect of it, which is a quite tough for one person to handle if you think about it, being a designer, this everything. But that really helps me. Harvard helped me in the way that they taught us that it's an ecosystem, and if you want to grow, your whole ecosystem has to grow. So my carriers have to grow, my staff has to grow, my whole ecosystem has to grow. It can't be a short journey like that. And GIA, like uh, I think GIA holds a very special place because, see, when I started, I had no credentials, I had nothing. I'd done some courses, I had learned a little bit, but like everybody would say that, what do you know? GIA gave me the confidence that yes, I do know something. I do know diamonds. I can understand diamonds. And at that point of time, there were very few GIA graduates in the country. Like I'd done it in New York way back in 2000. So there were very few GIA graduates, and like we were like well respected, and GIA held a brand in itself. So people started respecting me a little more, like, okay, she's serious, she's not like just run of the mill person who will just not understand anything about diamonds and do it. So I think that
Wow.
yeah, tuition helped a lot.
That's quite beautiful. I know. I mean, I know you. You basically just told us that how each of these things in your academic journey are continuously helping you. But I just love how you say that you're learning on the job even today. So I also want to understand why do you think, or maybe you can talk a little bit about your experience as well. But I want to understand why do you think jewelry designers or even aspiring jewelry designers need to have the knowledge of gemstones?
It's very, very necessary in this field, because unless you understand your gemstones, how are you going to design? I have to understand what stones I'm gonna use, how I am going to proceed. If I don't understand, I will just put a green color. A green color can be a savarite, it can be an emerald, it can be a onyx, it can be anything. And every piece has a different depth, a different light, a different style, and a different pricing. So you have to work with everything together. And unless you understand your gemstones and unless you understand your diamonds, I don't think you are going to be like, just sketching something is doesn't make you a designer. It has to be all put together.
You've had this journey of building this brand and this business in a slightly more traditional, age. Uh, so, as we all know, jewelry is for women, well, mostly. Yet the industry is quite predominantly male oriented, male dominated to that sense. How was your experience, navigating this, unique landscape, and more importantly, because you were also leading a business. So, how did you navigate through this, and what were the challenges, and how did you overcome them, ma'am?
So at that point of time, there were hardly any women in the industry at my level, like at the top level. Still, there are very few. They are wives and mothers or sisters or somebody who are related to the jewelry industry. But for a complete novice like me, who had no connections in the jewelry industry, it was a very, very difficult. In the beginning, people did not accept me as a serious jeweler, or they would say, Ki, what does she know, or what quality, or what she will understand, or whether her payment schedule is okay, or various other things like that. But somehow or the other, like once they accepted that yes, she's serious and she's doing good work, they were very, very cooperative. The men in the field were very cooperative, and they really, really like sort of encouraged me ki nahi, nahi, aap chaliye, aap dekh lijiye. First time I went to the Hong Kong fair to buy, it was a very interesting experience because there were all men there. They were like, even in the booths from other countries like Israel or Antwerp or USA, there were mostly men who were heading, and they couldn't believe that a woman is looking at diamonds and buying on her own or things like that. But now, if I go to the fair, at least I get like, most people know me and they understand, and like even in the local industry also, it's well accepted. They know me, they will say, "Oh, hi, how are you doing?" kind. So it took its own time, but and then if you are like straight with your dealings, and if you are like, I think men are very, very helpful that way, that they really help you out of the way so that you can do. So I don't think I had a very any bad experience per se as such, except that it was little difficult in the beginning to get accepted as a serious jeweler,
Hmm.
not for anything else. And probably that might be even for men also. It wasn't like it was women centric because of that. Because for somebody with no connections, no industry, this thing, no leanings, nothing, to get into a jewelry business solely on your design capacity plus whatever was a little strange at that point of time. Now I see a lot more women in this, and I'm very happy to see them. And I tell them that you can go, you can achieve the world if you want. Like, it's,
My question to you is, ma'am, it must it has it must have certainly taken a lot, the ups and downs that you mentioned, starting from that 2 lakh capital. Now, from that, how do you go on to create a brand that resonates with customers from, you know, such far-reaching locations and have such diverse tastes? Um, of course, every customer is looking for the best quality, but especially as a jewelry designer who's designing for these customers who have very different tastes, maybe you could talk a little bit about how you managed to, one, create this brand, and two, from maybe a jewelry designing perspective, as to how do you cater to these different needs of different customers across different locations.
firstly, see, my jewelry is a little international jewelry. It's contemporary, yet it's very, very modern. And when I started, there was no modern jewelry, like no designer jewelry. It was pretty traditional at that point of time, like 25 years ago. it was very, very traditional jewelry everywhere. So people were very happy to see a little more modern jewelry and innovative jewelry. So that's how I think I got little popular. But to per se, customers everywhere, women are women. They love diamonds. Let me tell you that. So one thing I can never go off with wrong with is with diamonds. But yes, the design sensibilities of every place is different. Like London, they will go for smaller stones, for straight lines, for simpler jewelry. But in Middle East, it's very much like what we do here. So like India and Middle East, I think our design sensibilities are quite same. But otherwise, if you see a Bombay design is a different than a Calcutta design, and a South design will be a very different than a. So each piece has its up differences, but my jewelry is sort of like a bridge jewelry, I would say. It has modern, it has tradition, it has contemporary, it has styling, it has like a design element to it which sets it apart. So I think people like that. That there is some design element to it and some stone element to it or some style to it which sets it apart. And that's why I think I'm more popular, because basically everything else everyone can do. But that little thing which sets me apart is what makes Diagold special. And I would like to tell you something very interesting. I went to Saudi Arabia at a time when there was like no women allowed in Saudi Arabia. I had done an exhibition in Abu Dhabi, and we had a huge banquet with the king and all and everything. And it was fantastic. And it was a 15-course meal. And I just ate the salad and the sweet because I was sure कि किसमें क्या चीज़ है, I'm a vegetarian, I can't touch this. And I was like, so from there, somehow they connected me and they invited me to Saudi Arabia. And this was a women's only exhibition. So me being me, I said I want to go, and I just they arranged for the visa. Otherwise, single women were not allowed in Saudi Arabia, and we were supposed to wear the abaya. We could open our faces, but we were supposed to wear the abaya and everything. But still, I went. And believe you me, I had such a fantastical experience out there. It was very different life that time, and we were in a women's only hotel, and the whole ambience was amazing. Amazing is not the word. And I got invited to the princess palaces. Like princes would like my jewelry, so they would say, "Okay, show me at home," and I would like put everything in a bag and go there. And we had heard so many stories about this, that, about like and carrying so much stuff. So I would tell my hotel people, "Oh, I'm going to this princess house." I had a very good taxi person. I would tell, "तुम इतना देर में आ जाना अगर by chance कोई problem होएगा तो." We were scared, but we went everywhere. And those palaces were an experience in itself, and the hospitality is amazing, amazing hospitality. So I think I got experiences which I would never have had if I had not ventured out of my comfort zone. And that's how I build up my clientele everywhere in the world. So I have royalty from there. I have friend stars in Bombay. I have like all kinds of people, industrialists, of course, but every kind. And my jewelry is everyday jewelry also. So working women can buy my jewelry. I have this motto: every customer can buy Diagold jewelry. We are not that expensive. We are not that a brand which cannot sell to everyone. We have to sell to everyone.
Has there been, a customer who's, posed you a very serious challenge? It could be a design challenge, it could be something else, perhaps. But maybe would you recall any such incident that you'd like to share with us?
I had a customer who ordered a very big necklace. Let's say a very big necklace, like that. Okay. And as we went on, and like once the design was finished, and we show this thing that, okay, are you the, oh, it's looking too small. I want it bigger. So then we had to make it much bigger. And then once we made it much bigger, और बड़ा कर सकते हैं. And I had the time frame I had to deliver, and I had to manage that, and I had to make it bigger within that time frame, within the style, with the kind of amazing stones we needed. That was truly a big design challenge. Like that kind of thing happens very often. We are running against time, we are running against stones, because every piece needs a special stone. Maybe it's a Mozambique ruby with diamonds, because diamonds are the easiest to source. Diamonds we get everywhere, the sizes, everything, it's easier. And especially with all the GIA and the grading, all the labs and everything. So that is the easiest piece to source. The colored stones are more difficult to source.
Hmm.
The right Colombian emeralds or the right Tanzanite, that makes or breaks it.
Um, Maybe this is more of an academic question from my point of view, at least, but I'm sure the audience would definitely want to know, learn this. Like, in the process of the ideation of a design to actually creating the jewelry piece, after having, done all the processes, which of the stages, and maybe you can, from an academic point of view, of course, you could talk me through maybe the stages that are there, but which stage, according to you, do you find the most challenging?
The stage which is the most challenging is the budget stage. Actually, I'm being very practical here, because if the way I see it, if I put a good size gemstone and if I put big diamonds, anything will look beautiful. But to make that design within the budget which I feel the customer will buy, that is where most people go wrong. So that is a very important point, that this is the balance which will look right, will still give the look which I want, but will be in a budget which I think I can sell it at. That is the most difficult part. Otherwise, just adding a few big stones, fabulous. It goes beautiful. But just to like work the design which I have in my mind in the budget I feel will work is the most difficult. And I think that's where a lot of jewelers go wrong.
And ma'am, maybe again from an academic perspective, if you could just walk me through the stages, uh, and where does budget fit in? Like, is it the very first question that you ask a customer? So maybe if you could talk me through the stages as well.
Like maybe I visualize something that I'm making a earring, and then I have something in mind. Then I do the colored part, that this is the colors and this much diamonds I want to incorporate. This is the styling. Then I sketch it out. Once the sketching is done, then we try to fit everything within the right framework and the technique of making, because nowadays there are a lot of like moving diamonds, loose diamonds, or a different technique of making layered, making a 3D setting. So we'll work out the setting, we'll get a CAD rendering done, and then see if it's right, and then we'll give it for making.
So in the past, 2 decades that you've been doing this, um, do you think that these jewelry design trends have evolved or changed over time? And if yes, maybe you could, for especially for, we also have some jewelry design enthusiasts in the audience. If you could talk them through, how was it earlier, what is it now, and maybe also what do you foresee, what's coming in the future?
The jewelry design trends have definitely changed over times. Like I've been in this for 2.5 decades, and I feel that every 5 years or so, the trends keep changing.
Hmm.
So the style, the stones, the whole thing keeps changing. And at the moment, I feel that mm, people were much more traditional back then. They were like, we were trying to teach them, okay, this is white gold, this is pink gold, or this is like briolette or a rose cut, or a briolette diamond, a rose cut diamond, or a diamond bead, or a colored diamond, like a black diamond, yellow diamond, champagne diamond, pink diamond. But now people are very aware of everything. So I think because of all the exposure, they are very international, and they know, like, okay, Graf does yellow diamond. Oh, I've seen the Harry Winston blue, this thing. Oh, can you do something like this? Or Musayef is this. They know all the top brands, a Tiffany ring. So everything, they're very much more, they're much more exposed to the design trends now. So unless you are with it today and your finishing is up to the mark, the finishing makes all the difference. And the uh, you have to be with the times. If you won't keep on changing yourself with the styling and the design trends, then it's very difficult. At least for a brand like mine, which is known for its like design sensibilities. basically. So we try to keep it up, we try to assess what is coming in, and we try to bring that with the Indian touch, with our own twist too. Like multicolored sapphires are very big thing now. A lot of colored diamonds we are doing. Briolets, rose cuts are uh, in. Then we are doing flat cut diamonds. I'm doing with leather. I'm doing with other stuff also. So I keep experimenting with everything. We're doing titanium jewelry nowadays. So
Wow.
things.
You think there's a market for all of these, these experiments, so to say, these experimental jewelry designs? There's a market for that in India and maybe even internationally.
Yes, definitely. It's not the mainstay, but there are certain kind of people, certain clients who will always look for something like this, something which is out of the ordinary. You have to be above the ordinary. If they want something which is little outstanding, and then traditional jewelry will never go out. So for bigger pieces, maybe we stick to a little more traditional stuff, but for smarter pieces and things like that, we try to innovate with a lot of other stuff.
According to you, what is the current jewelry trend that you're loving right now? Is there a current jewelry trend that you're liking, or trend one or
I,
multiple?
I'm just loving the colored diamond trends. I love the colored diamonds, like the Vaz Gros. He does black diamonds. I love black diamonds. I love icy diamonds. I love yellow diamonds. I love champagne diamonds and pink diamonds, although they are unaffordable. And maybe a blue diamond. I just love the colors of diamonds. They are like, at the moment, I'm loving that the best, although multi sapphire is my second
Quite
trend, which
interesting.
I'm loving, because those soft colors, the pastels are very summery and very beautiful. And they are like really trending now.
What according to you is your secret for a good work-life balance?
See, first you have to prioritize. You have to decide what you want in life. So if I decided that I want my family and I want my work, these are my two priorities. Everything else is secondary. So I have to sacrifice a lot of friend time, me time, or other things, which I'm willing to give away. Like maybe holidays cut short, maybe anything and everything. But everything else comes secondary. And like we have a rule in our house, the once I go home, 2 hours no phone, so nothing I will be allowed on the phone. My phone is off, and I spend that time with my family. We just interact with each other and everything. So no phone, no other connection, it's just family. So that is how I try to maintain the balance with things, and that is how you have to make time for the important things in life and let go of other pleasures or other things which you might want to do but don't have the time or the focus to.